What's going on, guys? It's the 90s Baby Gamer giving you another video. This time I'm going to discuss whether or not Nintendo should make the Zelda Wii U game an NX launch title. It was recently revealed that Nintendo no longer is making a 2015 release of The Legend of Zelda Wii U a priority. Now, this doesn't 100% confirm that the game won't be coming out this year, but you can pretty much count on it not being out this year simply because the devs no longer see it as a priority. Apparently, they found something in the game that they want to explore some more. So this is going to take time, and you know how Nintendo, they always like to polish their games, and the game isn't even expected to make an E3 appearance. So I highly doubt that they will be releasing Zelda Wii U this year. They could always come out with a direct sometime this summer, and it'll be totally dedicated to Zelda. But at the biggest gaming convention, for you not to pull out your game, I'm starting to think that the game just won't be released this year. It may not even be released next year. I mean, if it is, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said previously, Nintendo does indeed like to, take the time to polish their games, and which is why I really wouldn't mind because when Nintendo comes out with a product, you know it's complete, you know it's going to be something worth your time. Unless, of course, it's Mario Party because they totally changed the game. But that's a discussion for another for another time. What a lot of people are discussing now is they're saying, with new info coming out on the NX next year, would it defeat the purpose to release Zelda on the Wii U when the Wii U is pretty much buying its time? It's on borrowed time, and I think anybody denying that the Wii U is on borrowed time at this point is delusional. You're a delusional fanboy if you think that the Wii U isn't on borrowed time. Now, Nintendo, they usually have a lifespan of 5 to 6 years when it comes to their consoles. So I believe the Wii U will last 5 years. But if you look at it, that means that they're probably going to stop making Wii U games 2017 or 2018. And since Nintendo is going to be revealing details about the NX next year, you got to figure they're going to reveal exactly what it is at E3. They revealed the Nintendo Wii U in November of not November in May of 2011, and by November of 2012, the console itself was released. So I do believe that we're going to be hearing about the NX more and knowing exactly what it is at E3, and then in 2017, I believe it'll be released. Which at that point, if Zelda Wii U hasn't been released in 2016, you can pretty much count on it being an NX launch title. Do I think that this should happen? I mean, if you look at the Wii U's launch, it was lackluster. It had a bunch of third-party games that people already played either on consoles or on PCs. They already played it on their Xbox 360 or the PS3, so they had no point in getting those games. And then you had third-party titles such as Mass Effect 3. I mean, who that only had a Nintendo console, who would play Mass Effect 3 without playing the first two? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think devs do need a share of the blame for that, because you had games that there was also Darksiders 2, I believe, was on the Wii U, and I don't think there was a Darksiders 1. So it kind of defeats the purpose that you're releasing these games and they weren't able to play the first or second games in the installment. But and Nintendo themselves also need to share the blame for their launch because they didn't come out with any of their heavy hitter first party games out the gate. They only had New Super Mario Bros. U, which was basically a remaster of the Wii version. It was pretty much the same game, very very similar. So the launch wasn't the greatest, and I think if you came out and you had a game like Legend of Zelda right out the gate on the NX, that would be terrific for its launch. Now, if this game is able to come out, I will say this: if the game is able to come out in 2016, release it on the Wii U, make it one of the last big Wii U titles, and gets at least some more units in their home because we all know that the system is on borrowed time. The system I think is only going to last at most until 2018. And by that time, you could still get some units, some Wii U units, into people's homes. So if you can release that game in 2016, by all means do it. But if at that point you need to polish the game and you need to release it so far back, that it's around the NX's launch, just make it an NX launch title. Just do that, please, because it'll be terrific for the NX's launch. They'll have a huge title right out the gate, and right off the bat, your system will be in more people's homes. I don't think Nintendo can afford to screw up with the NX. They have plenty of money in the bank, but you can't keep screwing this up. You can't keep screwing up your home consoles, and they've been screwing up their home consoles since the N64. Now, the N64 still had a lot of great titles, don't get me wrong, and a lot of great exclusives too, but they went cartridge. And that's what Nintendo's problem's been. They're too unique for their own good at times. So they had the Nintendo console coming out, and they had the N64, which was cartridge based when everybody had moved to disc. Then you had the GameCube, which everybody had regular disc, and Nintendo had to be unique, so they had a mini disc. Then with the Wii, which they caught a huge break from because smartphones weren't hot at the time, they had to have motion controls for the Wii, which ended up hurting them in the long run because they didn't make their console HD. So by the time the Wii U came out, they were behind once again. They were behind the generation, just like with the Wii. They had to come out with that gamepad, which, don't get me wrong, I like the gamepad, I really do, but to not give people the option and to make it a necessity for like the menus out the gate and stuff like that, I just don't see what the point is. But that's my thoughts on the NX.